The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. An official discussion between the Pakistani Prime Minister and the President was held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. A discussion between the two Prime Ministers of Pakistan and Sri Lanka was held this morning. 5 MOUs signed between the two nations to enhance bilateral relations. 15,331 police officials have been vaccinated. All arrangements are being finalized to conduct the GCE O-level examination. Malaysia deports Myanmar nationals despite court order. Local stories in detail. An official discussion between the visiting Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was held at the Presidential Secretariat office this morning. Imran Khan is the 22nd Prime Minister of Pakistan. This is his first visit to Sri Lanka after assuming office as the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and this is his first foreign visit this year. The two Prime Ministers of Pakistan and Sri Lanka together presided over an event to sign 5 mutually beneficial bilateral memoranda of understanding yesterday after concluding their official talks at the Temple Trees. Several representatives of the two nations also participated at this event. They reached an agreement on tourism, investment board, industrial technology institutes and universities of the two countries. They issued a joint statement affirming efforts to enhance trade relations between Sri Lanka and Pakistan as well. A discussion between Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mohammad Qureshi and Minister Dinesh Gunawardena was held at the Foreign Ministry this morning. The discussion was focused to enhance bilateral relations between the two nations. Several matters, including economic, social and political matters, were also discussed. Commissioner General of Examinations Sanath Pujitha says that all arrangements are being finalized to conduct the GCE O-level examination on the 1st to the 10th next month, island-wide. The exam will be conducted considering the COVID situation under health guidelines. He told the SABC that 40 special examination centres have been allocated for the students considering the situation. The practical test of the exam will be conducted after the 15th of next month. The Ministry of Education says first stage of the first term of year 2021 of all government schools will end tomorrow. Thereby, the second stage of the first term is expected to begin on the 15th of March. Minister Dallas Alaperumas said in Parliament today that tenders have not been issued to an institution of any country to implement the renewable electricity projects in the country. At the international tender calling, Chinese and Indian companies have submitted their biddings. After that, the High Commissioner of India has informed that this project can be carried out as a grant. The necessary assistance will be given by the Asian Development Bank. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with the local stories, the 2021-2022 election for the Bar Association of Sri Lanka was held this morning. The election commenced at 8 a.m. and is due to conclude on 5 p.m. today. Attorneys Quera de Souza and Salia Pires are running for presidency of the Bar Association this year. To end the local news, the headlines again. An official discussion between the Pakistani Prime Minister and the President was held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. The discussion between the two Prime Ministers of Pakistan and Sri Lanka was held this morning. 5 MOUs signed between the two nations to enhance bilateral relations. 15,331 police officials have been vaccinated. All arrangements are being finalized to conduct the GCE O-level examination. That ends the local news.
It's the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news News Story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, police media spokesman DIG Ajit Rohan says that 15,331 police officers have been vaccinated. 2,254 police officers were vaccinated yesterday, including the staff of the police hospitals. The Kalaniya Divisional Crimes Investigation Unit has arrested an organised crime group, including foreign nationals who had defrauded over 1.7 million rupees through an online scam. Investigations carried out by the Kalaniya Divisional Crime Investigation Unit had revealed that the scam was carried out by an organised group using various SIM cards. Accordingly, 6 Nigerian nationals, including 2 women and a Sri Lankan couple, have been arrested in connection with the incident. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watch Light, the tourists who are arriving at the Udavalave National Sanctuary are facing many difficulties due to the lack of facilities. The residents and the businessmen in the area point out that the tourists are reluctant to stay at this place for a long time due to the unavailability of basic facilities. The people request the relevant authorities to pay attention on this matter. That ends Watch Light.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. Malaysia deports Myanmar nationals despite court order. Japan conveys concern over China, Myanmar at UN. Australian lawmakers expected to pass amendments to Facebook, Google law. Malaysia has deported 1,086 people back to Myanmar, defying a court order and appeals from human rights groups to halt the process. Rights organizations say the group includes some ethnic minorities which have suffered prosecution in Myanmar. They say sending them back to Myanmar, which is in the midst of a coup, could put them at even greater risk. But Malaysia has said those being sent back committed immigration offences and are not asylum seekers. All of those returned had agreed to be sent back voluntarily without being forced by any party. Japanese Foreign Minister Motegi Toshimitsu has expressed concerns over the human rights situations in China and Myanmar. In a video message to the UN Human Rights Council, Motegi said, while remarkable economic growth has been made in the Asia-Pacific, achieving democracy and protecting human rights remain ongoing challenges. He also said Japan has grave concerns over the situation caused by the military coup in Myanmar. Australian lawmakers are expected to approve amendments to landmark legislation to force Facebook and Alphabet's Google to pay media companies for news content, despite opposition from the minor political parties. The government introduced amendments to the so-called Media Bargaining Code after Facebook last week escalated a dispute over the new laws by blocking Australian users from sharing and viewing news content on its popular social media platform. Australia's Senate began debating the amendments today. To end the world news, the headlines again. Malaysia deports Myanmar nationals despite court order. Japan conveys concern over China, Myanmar at UN. Australian lawmakers expected to pass amendments to Facebook, Google law. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Moving on to development news, State Minister Sathasivam Vielendran said that many development projects will be started in the Batticaloa district soon. He was speaking at a meeting at the Batticaloa district secretariat held recently. The State Minister said that 100 million rupees was allocated by the State Ministry to buy machinery to produce fertilizer in Hambantota, Kandy, Matale, Trincomalee, Ampara and Batticaloa. 27.5 million rupees have been allocated for the Batticaloa district to carry out the development projects. That ends development news. Moving on to sports news. The Sri Lanka Volleyball Federation is to conduct a Super League Volleyball Championship for men and women in mid-March for the Galaxy Cup sponsored by a Chinese company, Basheng Lanka Investment. The SLVF and the sponsors signed a memorandum of understanding at the Grand Monarch Hotel in Batramulla, and the picture shows the secretary of the SLVF as Nalaka and chairman Basheng Lanka Investment Fu Zongyu exchanging documents relating to agreement. The Unacademy Road Safety World Series T20 is set to be resumed on March 2nd, with the final scheduled to be held on March 21st. The tournament will see cricket legends such as Sachin Tendulkar, Virendra Sehwag, Brian Lara, Muttiah Muralidharan and legendary cricketers from Bangladesh and England in action. 5 teams will take part in the tournament. India, Australia, Sri Lanka, West Indies and South Africa are the 5 cricket-playing nations. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
On business news, the All Share Price Index, the primary index of the Colombo Stock Exchange, tracking the price movements of all shares listed on the exchange, has remained in double-digit year-to-date returns territory for 25 consecutive market days over a period of 5 weeks since the 15th of January 2021. YTD return indicates the quantity of profit realized by an investment since the first trading day of a calendar year. YTD calculations are frequently used by investors to measure the performance of a stock market. That ends business news.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Export Agriculture Director General A.P. Hinkenda says that 2 billion rupees could be saved due to ban on imports imposed by the government during the last year. He also stated that the export income of local spices has been increased by 9 billion rupees when compared to the year 2019.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And finally, on the weather report, the Met Department says few showers will occur in eastern and Uva provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in western, central and Sabaragamu provinces and in Gaul, Mathura districts during the evening or at night. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in Sabaragamu province and in the Kalutara, Gaul and Mathura districts. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. An official discussion between the Pakistani Prime Minister and the President was held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. A discussion between the two Prime Ministers of Pakistan and Sri Lanka was held this morning. 5 MOUs signed between the two nations to enhance bilateral relations. 15,331 police officials have been vaccinated. All arrangements are being finalized to conduct the GCE O-level examination. Malaysia deports Myanmar nationals despite court order. With that, we conclude this bulletin from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.